This episode, we feature a man at the forefront of the flat earth movement, someone who is a very well known in the flat earth community, a YouTuber and co-host of the Flat Earth podcast. I'd like to welcome David Weiss to the show. How you doing, Dave?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. And first off, I just want to congratulate you on your show. I actually, since I knew you were coming on, was listening to your guys' podcast, and it's pretty brilliant, man. Fascinating stuff. Even, I'm not necessarily saying I'm on board with the flat earth thing, but just what you guys talk about, I can get down with it, and it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable conversation for sure.
Yeah, so I'll listen. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm here to point to a bunch of doors that you didn't know were there, and that let you look at it yourself. And I tell people, don't believe anything I say. Go verify it, because I have two awards, two rewards, two prizes. One, 3 Bitcoins for one proof of the globe. Sounds pretty good. 3 Bitcoins. That's like 125 grand or something. And 100 Bitcoins for anything dumber than the flatter, than the not the flatter, than the heliocentric globe model. Oops, Freudian slip.
I love it. I love it. The one thing I find interesting with a lot of flat earthers is you guys actually on the same page with a lot of the stuff that I agree with. Like when it comes down to like things we're being told, things that were, I feel like, we're lied to about a lot of different stuff. And
You're wrong. We're lied to about everything.
Yeah,
not a lot of different stuff. Everything is a lie. Everything is inverted. Everything. Our idols, the just everything. It's all inverted. You'll learn. I'm still learning every day, man.
Yeah, I got you, man. So what got you started on this path, man, to becoming flat earth, and kind of what was the turning point for you that made you feel like you've been lied to your whole life?
I was always looking into I was very curious about lots of stuff, and I didn't like believe any religions, and I didn't believe, I believed, in the Big Bang Theory, and we evolved from pond scum. Made perfect sense to me. That's what I was taught in school, and teachers don't lie. And then after 9/11 happened, I live on the water here in Connecticut, and I can have a clear shot to New York City and the towers. And I saw what happened. I saw the towers turn into dust, and it didn't make any sense to me. And then it took 4 years before I really started looking into it. And then I realized, wow, that's a lie. That's not what happened. And so I started looking into more and more things. And over the years, I started I was in corporate America, and my buddy Tim and I, we'd be in the lunchroom. We'd be talking about the Federal Reserve, about how it's not federal and all this stuff, and 9/11. And then we had the opportunity to do a podcast at a New York City. And I was like, what the hell is a podcast? Didn't even know. And so we did the podcast where Tim and I were the truth seekers. And then we had Mike, the comedian, that tried to turn everything into a fart joke. And it was a pretty good formula. And we did that for 3 years, looking into all the deceptions, Connecticut deception, New York, Boston, all of it. And at one, people started sending me, Dave, in the 3rd year, have you looked into flat earth? This is like 2015. And I was like, get the hell out of here, delete, banned. You're no longer allowed to communicate with us because you're too stupid. You think the earth is flat. But then I was forced to look. And I went in with a closed mind to prove it wrong. I said, flat earth is dumb. I'm going to straighten this out and just make fun of these idiots. And that's how you become a flat earther, because globers, you included maybe, have 2 things in common. They don't know what the flat earth model is. They think it's a disc floating in space, when in fact, that's not what it is. We're not a disc floating upwards in space. If you Google flat earth, you end up, with Flat Earth Society information, which is not what Flat Earth is. Flat Earth Society is a government-run disinfo site that'll give you stuff like this, a disc floating in space. It's ridiculous. Nobody thinks that. Only globers think that flat earthers think that. We don't think that. And then the other thing is, they don't know anything. They don't know anything about their ball model. We have groups of people that do flea markets and travel the country, and they preach flat earth. When people start saying you're stupid, and say, I've been researching this for 5, 6, 7 years, day and night, and you're telling me I'm stupid. Let's see if you know anything about your globe model. And they ask 3 questions, and they'll tell you what the first question is, and we offer $100 if you get all 3 right. First question is, how many times does your globe Earth spin in 24 hours? Do you know, Dylan?
No, I don't.
Well, it spins once. It's a simple
Oh,
question.
well, yeah.
Well,
I guess. Yeah,
most people know
that
it,
makes sense.
but
Yeah,
a lot of people don't figure it out.
right.
So I'll give you that one. How fast is it orbiting the sun?
That I don't know either.
66,600 miles an hour. You failed. You didn't lose 100. You didn't win the $100. How far away is the sun? 93 million miles. Okay. And the people that don't know the simple answers to their own model call us stupid. Let me just show you something. This is the hypersonic sled. Watch carefully. It's going to go by at Mach 8.6. You ready? Watch up. Do you see it? Did you miss it? Did you blink?
Yes.
Watch. This is Mach 8.6. We're orbiting the sun. Watch. 10 times faster than that. And we're chasing the sun 90 times faster than that, right? All of that's going on, and we have lakes that look like this.
And they claim it's gravity, right?
Yeah, magic of gravity. Gravity that Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of scientism, says we don't know what gravity is. We don't know what it is. But most of space, 95 or 96% of it, is made up of dark matter and dark energy. No one's ever seen it. No one's ever measured it, but it has to be there, or their gravitational model doesn't work. It still doesn't work with that. But they made it up to fill in the 96% hole in their stupid model. Gravity's nonsense.
Yeah, that actually kind of makes sense.
Welcome to the Flat Earth.
Love your shirt. Love your shirt, by the way.
There you go. You can get that on my app.
That's spot on right there, buddy.
Other shirts. Yeah,
that's spot on.
Careful what you say if this is going on YouTube.
Yeah, I've already got one strike. This might be number 2 here.
No, you're good. You didn't say anything bad.
Doing research for the show, I came across that a lot of the ancient civilizations believed in flat Earth, and I find that interesting because I know, at least in my opinion, like as far as spirituality and stuff goes, I feel like there's been a lot of things lost in translation between ancient cultures and now, and I think they had a lot of things figured out more correct than we currently do. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, it's worse than that. Not only did every ancient civilization, except the liars at NASA, think that the Earth was flat and stationary. It was less than 100 years ago that everyone on Earth knew the Earth was flat. Less than 100 years ago. I did an interview with a woman named Ruth in February of 2020 about the World's Fair. She was 102 years old. And she had such a great memory. While I was talking to her, I said, what did they teach you in elementary school about the Earth? Never once mentioning flat Earth. She looked at me, she goes, they taught me the Earth was flat, but then they changed it some years later. And when I told her the story of what the Earth is and inception, she literally broke down in tears. It was friggin' crazy. And we found another woman in Croatia from the 1930s said that all the schools taught flat Earth. We found encyclopedias that talk about flat Earth and the dome in Antarctica. And we found newspaper articles from the New York Journal about teachers being persecuted for trying to teach heliocentrism. Okay, the ball model. They were literally, everyone knew the Earth was flat in the early 1900s, mid 1900s. And then came, the exploration of Antarctica, where I think that the people that were put in place to run this world started figuring out what it was, and they locked everything down. And they had the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Dozen or so countries signed on. Now they've all signed on. Nobody is allowed to independently explore Antarctica, period, until the year 2041. Right? No one is allowed to go beyond 60 degrees south without a special permit, which you can't get.
What's in 2041?
60 years.
I know, but what?
That's because they had to come up with a number, and long before then, if we're still around, they will kick the can down the road another 60 years.
Well, they claim it's to preserve the continent.
We have to protect the penguins, the migratory paths of the penguins, and it's the only unpolluted area on Earth. So we can't drop a cigarette butt on the ice. But go ahead, deforest the Amazon, spray chemicals in the sky, do
Or
whatever you want.
farmland. Yeah.
Yeah, burn farmland, poison people with all sorts of poisons through every possible way, but don't walk on the ice. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. People can't even, and the thing is, people, well, you can go to Antarctica. Yeah, you can spend like $30,000, $40,000, go there for 3 days on a boat. They'll take you to this little peninsula here, which is bigger than many countries. And they'll show you some penguins, some icebergs. Maybe they'll show you a ceremonial South Pole, maybe about here. You know, they'll take you 10, 20 miles in, out, and they'll show you a pole. Ceremonial South Pole. Compasses don't work, GPS doesn't work, so you can't confirm where you are, and then they kick you out. That's it. No one is allowed to explore the outer space. Outer space, inner space. We live in the Antarctic pond, Antarctic basin. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. It contains our water. It's the tub that holds our water in. Without a barrier, the water will flow away. Not flowing off the edge of a disk floating in space. That's flat Earth society nonsense. We live on an extended plane. We live in the Antarctic basin. What's out here? Who knows? Maybe there's more land like this Japanese map shows from 10 centuries ago. Those are all other continents that they maybe don't want us to know about. Where would those continents be? Those would be in the outer space. If somebody lived on this extra land, extra territory, what would you call them? An extraterrestrial, maybe?
Yeah,
And
possibly.
if they came to visit us, where are they coming from?
Outer space. Interesting. I've never seen a map like that. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So if the Earth is flat, why the big cover up? What's their deal?
Why the lie?
Yeah.
Just for fun. Maybe they're hiding more land. Maybe they're hiding the creator. Maybe they're hiding your spirituality, hiding more resources, hiding knowledge of what's in Antarctica, hiding that you are at the center of the universe, that nobody has dominion over you, keeping you in a jail that you can't see the walls. It's a prison for your mind, limiting your potential, hiding your true power. You know, look at the analogy I use is Neo in the Matrix. At the beginning, he knows something's wrong. He's plugged into the Matrix. He can't see the walls of his prison, but then he unplugs, and look at Neo at the end of the movie. He's reclaimed who he really is. Even though the world, it looks a little screwed up, but he's taken back his power and his ability to create the world that he wants. They don't want us to know that we create our reality with our minds, and they are controlling our minds with the programming in the television.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. As far as creating reality with our mind, that's an absolute fact. So with that being said, then NASA, why the cover up and the moon land? I had a guy on the other day who talked about how they faked the moon landing, and he brought some interesting points up about it. I mean, because obviously, if there's, I mean, I guess maybe let me backtrack a second. What is the moon and sun in the flat Earth model?
What is the moon and the sun? Period. Nobody knows. But look, this guy is supposedly on the moon, and he can't pick up the hammer because he's hanging from wires, and he can't get enough downward momentum. I think he's got a large balloon on him in this case. This is real footage from the moon. This is ridiculous. Okay. This is, you know, look at this horizon right here. This is done on a Hollywood set, right? This is the orbiter and the lander rendezvousing. Okay. This is a spaceship. Look at this thing. Looks like a homeless 2-weeker shelter. Right. This is a model, right? This is what they showed us as real. Right. All of the stuff, people are like, well, what about the photos from the moon? Right. They're ridiculous. And we've taken them off there. This is from NASA's website. This is the famous shot of the flag and the moon, right? We zoom in on the moon and we crank up the levels in Photoshop and watch what happens. Why is there a box around this moon? Because they suck.
That's the Earth, right? That's
This is
the
the Earth.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is a I said moon. I'm sorry. This is the Earth. A composite. This is they just dropped it in. They didn't even take off the edges, make it a PNG. I could do that better, and I don't even have Photoshop. Okay. All of the photos of Earth are fake. Not me saying that. NASA says it. Says they're all made in the Photoshop and paintings. They admit it. When you look at photos of Earth, and actually do some real measurements. Here's one. I remember this 1978 image of Earth. 2017, they're showing us, look at global warming and pollution. Look how dim we've made the planet. This was all over the news. Well, clouds never changed. Look, same clouds. Same clouds. It's a little, look at this cloud, this right here. There they are. Same
Yeah.
clouds. Right? What are the odds of that?
Use the same picture, man. That's all.
It's the same picture. Look at this. So going from Baja to Mexico, you got a little bit of a curve there, but this is basically a straight line at the center of the picture. And it's 934 miles. That's something we could actually verify. We could drive across, measure it. The diameter of the Earth, a straight line through 7,917 miles. I should be able to fit 8.5 of these because of this art. This is a little curved, like this is curved, but you can't see that it's curved. We'll just take off, I don't know, a half. So it should fit on there 8 times. Doesn't even fit on this page. I should be able to fit 8 of these in between these two lines. If this was to scale.
Right.
This is a crappy painting. This is what they show us. This is why people think we live on a globe. It's absolute insanity what people believe. These are all the beautiful pictures that they show us, that NASA shows us, but our highest zoom telescopes see this. What are these? Okay. They're not terra firma, big rocks falling around due to gravity. They're energetic, energetic light sources. This is what Mars looks like when zoomed in with a P1000 camera. Does that look like a dusty, dirty ball reflecting sunlight? Right? If you look at a star, this is the star Arcturus, at an impossible distance to see. The distances they tell us stars are scientifically provable that we could not see the stars. Here's the star Sirius. Kind of looks like it's underwater, right?
Right.
There's a whole bunch of stars.
Wow.
Not what NASA shows us.
And what do you contribute that to? Just energy?
I think that they're sentient in nature. I think they're, astrology. I used to laugh at people with astrology. How does Mars in retrograde affect my life? It's 25 million miles away. It can't even affect the tides, right? Well, that's if you believe that gravity affects the tides, which I do not. But then you realize, well, Mars is an energetic source right here within our sky, close to the Earth. Everything's electrical and magnetic in our world. Yeah, it affects our life. It's all of the positions of all these things have different energies, and we connect to them. I don't think we could live without them. This is the star Capella.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And this is stuff you can verify yourself. Go get a P900, P1000 Nikon camera, zoom in, and you can see the stuff firsthand.
Huh. Wow. So
Once you understand NASA's lying, you catch them faking stuff on the space station, then you can unwind it to we didn't go to the moon, right? Here's NASA. Check out this lemon. They got a fresh lemon up there. Watch it. It's not real. It goes right through their hand. It's a CGI object. It's called augmented reality. They're manipulating your mind with computer graphics.
And what it just seems like an awful lot. I mean, I'm with you on, especially there's definitely a lot of questions about the moon landing, but why go through all the damn trouble to, I don't know, try to trick people or to try to, I mean,
Because it's
there's got
about
to be a reason.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about controlling us. We're slaves. They're ruling over us. We believe that they have power over us, and the only power they have is in our imagination. Because if everyone woke up tomorrow and said, "Oh no, 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 you don't, no, you can't tell me what to do," they'd be done. They'd be finished. They'd be done. They'd be over. Right? We're letting them control us in two ways. One, they have us in a prison for our mind, thinking that we're running out of water, we're running out of fuel, we're running out of oxygen, we're running out of clean air, we're running out of everything. It just and the terrorists are going to take us out, and an asteroid's going to take us out, and nuclear bombs are going to take us out. All of it's fake. It's to keep us in fear from not letting our vibration rise, not letting us manifest the world that we were meant to have. And they're controlling us with it. And right now, there might be something known as a culling happening. It's an intelligence test. Okay. So it's you say, well, it's a big deal. Why would they do this? It's all about control. And they control us by having us in that mental globe prison. And they also control us with money. Money makes the world go round, right? It's all money is also an illusion. A $10 bill is worth absolutely nothing except maybe kindling for a fire, except someone will give me a sandwich for it. So that's because they believe it's worth what, it's a means of trade, but it's their monopoly board. We have to get off of their monopoly board, and we have to stop believing that we're on a ball flying through an infinite universe. This is about control. And every 100 years or so, they reset the population, because once you get too smart, it could threaten their ability, and they try to reset it. And what we're trying to do now is stop that reset from happening.
The Great Reset. Is that currently maybe what we're going through or seeing maybe the beginnings of in the last couple years?
Yeah, I mean, just without saying too much, in 1720 there was the plague, fascinating. 1820 there was cholera, massive die off. 1920 there was the Spanish flu, everybody was wearing masks
Yeah,
and everybody was getting
1919.
that
Yeah.
thing in the arm, and there was a massive die off in 2020. It's just a coincidence that it's every 100 years the same thing. There's nothing new under the sun. They use the same thing again and again and again. But this time, the internet may have gotten away from them, and there's enough people waking up where they can't do it without our approval. Like, they wanted to invade all of these other countries that weren't cooperating with their NWO plans, but they couldn't do it unless we all banged the war drum. So they did the thing in September on that
Yeah.
day after the 10th, and everybody pound the war drums, and then they could do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm with you on that. I was just actually talking to somebody today about our current situation. He's concerned about his job forcing,
Don't say it.
Yep.
Don't say it.
And I was telling him, it's just a matter of, I think, people standing together and just telling them no, you know.
It's that's it. And I've been saying no the whole time myself. I have yet to put a face muzzle on. And I've been shopping at ShopRite with 1,000 people in the store. I'm the only one without wearing a shame muzzle. And nobody says anything to me. A couple times they offered me one. And I was like, no, thank you. And that's it. It's all about fear. Everyone's like, oh my God, they're going to come to my door. They're going to put me in jail. It's not going to happen. Okay. They might scare you into thinking it, but they're not allowed to force it upon us. You have to make that decision yourself. Otherwise, they break our free will. They're not allowed to break our free will. They always tell us what they're doing. You have total power. It's like, oh, I'm just one person. I got to go to work tomorrow. I go. That's your own belief system.
Can you touch a little bit on the Earth curvature and how it's just?
I can't. There is none. There's no Earth curvature. What I mean, I saw the Earth's curvature. I see boats go over the horizon. You don't see boats go over the horizon. What you see is the angular resolution. Look, there's no boat here. There's no boat here. There's no boat here. Oh, what is that? There's a boat right there. It's not coming up over the curve. I'm just zooming it back into your optical range. So watch. Now I'll zoom out, and it's like the boat's going away, and watch, it disappears from the bottom up for a couple of reasons. Angular resolution, These bigger waves in the foreground hide the shrinking boat due to perspective, and it's going, 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 gone. Now a glober would say it went over the horizon, but it didn't go over the horizon. It just got too small to see, and it disappeared from the bottom up for several optical reasons. And now there's been many, many pictures where we've taken a picture of something that should be below the curve, but not only is it not below the curve, we can see the surface of the water beyond it. This camera is a foot off the ground. Excuse me, foot off the ground. The horizon should be 1.2 miles away or 1.9 miles away. At this, this is 9.4 miles. There should be 59 feet of curvature. But not only can we see the whole thing, we can see the water surface for dozens of miles beyond it, where there should be hundreds of feet of curvature. There is no curvature. So people say, well, how come I can't see Mount Everest? How come I can't see Mount Everest? You know, several reasons. If you could look through, put 3 panes of glass together, can you see through it? Pretty much, right? What if I put 100 panes of glass through it? Could you see through it? So here's a spot in France, Illusion, France, looking out over the ocean, and Mount Canigou is out here, but you can't see it because Mount Canigou is 175 miles away. And due to using globe math from this altitude, the top of Mount Canigou should be a mile below the physical horizon, if this is a physical horizon, but it's not. It's an optical horizon. The light bouncing off of Mount Canigou isn't strong enough to push through all of that atmosphere, all of those panes of glass, so you can't see it. It's just sky. But the sun is much brighter. And a couple days a year when the sun's migrating in between its 2 tropics, it lines up with Mount Canigou and it backlights it, and all of a sudden you can see it. The top of Mount Canigou right here should be a mile below this curve, if this is curve, but it's not. And the Glober argument is, well, this mountain is over the curve and the sun is already set and it's refracting up and stopping right at eye level. You know what I say to that? I say, cool story, bro.
Facts. That's funny. That's good. So what surrounds us then? Is it ice walls then around?
So yeah, so the question is, you know, people are like, how come no one's taking a picture of the ice wall? You know, how come people haven't gone to the edge and looked over? You know, if the earth was flat, people would have gone to the edge and you know, it would be a great tourist spot. And the way I say it is, we live in the Antarctic basin. There is no edge. Like, it's like, think of a big lake. You can go to the edge of a lake, but it's not the edge of a disc. You're not going to fall over the edge of the earth. You're going to just be at the edge of the lake. And then you have Antarctica, which is cold and icy and hard to navigate, and you're not allowed to go there. So, you know, what's beyond Antarctica? We don't know. It's off friggin' limits, right? As I'm trying to find my ice wall.
Do you believe there's people that have access to it?
Oh yeah, the elite does. You know, our elite go there really weird times, on Halloween, on election day. John Kerry went there on election day. There's stuff. Maybe that's where our true rulers are. They're on the lands beyond Antarctica. This is just a video and images of the shoreline of Antarctica. Looks like an ice wall. Just the edge. It's the cliff. It's the shoreline. Now, there's probably areas where there's a rocky shore and you can probably pull up a boat or something. But this is most of it. This is what they call the ice wall. It's not like the Game of Thrones. Okay. It's not a wall.
That's kind of
it's
what I
just a
envisioned.
shoreline.
Yeah.
That's the whole Game of Thrones. The entire series was meant to brainwash you into the ice wall belief. So when you hear ice wall, you think Game of Thrones, then your mind gets lost in Game of Thrones and you stop thinking about flat earth. Okay. Because that's all just mind control. This is the ice wall right here. It's the ice shoreline. Okay. What's out there? We don't know, but I just did a podcast, and I think it was Chinese or Spanish researchers that launched some balloons, so up 150,000 feet out as far as they can get, you know, in the south near Antarctica, and the balloons filmed more land beyond Antarctica, like another ocean and then another landmass beyond Antarctica. What? You know, we're supposed to believe that Antarctica is this, you know, continent at the bottom of the ball, but maybe it's more like this. This is Antarctica. We live here in this inner space, and out here in the outer space is extra land. And maybe the balloon went up and it can look out and saw this land out here, in the extra territory, in the outer space. Believing that aliens are coming from other planets, from other stars, is ridiculous. Okay, think about this. The closest star is Alpha Centauri. It's 25 trillion miles away. How far is that? Well, your brain can't even conceive of how far that is. Let's say you're traveling at a 1 mile per second. It's pretty fast. 1 mile per second. Okay, and you went for 1,000,000,000,000 seconds. That would be 1 trillion miles, right? So you're 1/25th of your way to the closest star, So how long does it take you at a mile a minute to go 1 trillion miles? 1/25th of the way there. It takes you 1 trillion seconds, right? Mile a second,
Right.
trillion seconds takes you 1/25th of the way there. How long in time is a trillion seconds?
I don't know how long.
I'll guess it in days, and if you guess it within a week, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
Guess it in days.
Yeah. Okay. I'll guess it in weeks. If you guess it within a week, I'll give you a Bitcoin. Just take a guess.
I don't know. I'll say 150 weeks.
150 weeks. Close. 31,000 years. Okay. You weren't that close.
No, it wasn't that close.
31,000 years is 1 trillion seconds. So traveling a mile a second in 31,000 years, you're 1/25th of the way to the first star. You have to do that 25 more times before you get to the closest star. And the other ones are magnitudes farther. And you believe that our eyes can see a star that far away? Oh, no, we're just seeing the light that's traveling from those stars. It's been gone for millions of years. And again, I say, cool story, bro.
Yeah, I always said that if there are aliens, well, I never, thought about something like what you're talking about being
Extraterrestrials. Don't use the word alien.
Yeah,
Extra terra, from outer space. Outer space is that way. It's that way. It's that way. It's south. Every straight line is going south.
But I'm with you. I don't think they travel in space. If they are, I feel like they're like interdimensional, or maybe potentially outer space and on the other side of the wall.
Separate two things: aliens and extraterrestrials. Extraterrestrials come from the lands beyond the extra terra, beyond Antarctica. They probably speak English, maybe Spanish, but English. I'm going to say English, okay? Because this is a large realm we're in. Aliens could be demons, could be angels, could be all this stuff, could be here among us, could live in other dimensions. Sure, bring it on. Has nothing to do with flat Earth. Aliens work both on a baller, demons work wherever. Extraterrestrials work on a flat Earth.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on?
Come on, it's more than interesting.
No, it is. It is fascinating. What is your thoughts on the UN having the flat Earth on their logo, their map?
It's just a coincidence.
It's just a coincidence.
No.
I don't believe in coincidences.
You're not a coincidence theorist?
No.
All of the agencies that run this world have, by chance, they all use a similar logo, right? These are the 4 agencies that run the world. Look at their logos. What are they telling you? There's so many disclosed documents by NASA, which we don't believe, but the FAA, the FBI, CIA, talking about all their modeling is done over a flat, non-rotating plane. A flat, non-rotating plane. Not a spinning, wobbling, pear-shaped ball flying through an infinite space vacuum, but a flat, non-rotating plane. Airplanes fly over the Earth plane, over sea level, not sea curve, not air globe. Airplanes fly over the Earth plane. And airplane routes actually prove that we are on a flat stationary plane. For example, if you wanted to go from Santiago to Australia, this is the route that they take, right? Why don't they just go zip? Well, we have to protect the penguins. We don't want to disturb their So we fly around. That would be shorter than going the other direction all the way to the north, right? And check us out. To go to Western
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all.
This is worse. Western Australia. They go all the way up here. They go all the way over to the friggin' Far East and Singapore, and then they come down here. Why would they do that? And the answer is, watch that route. We go all the way up across the United States, Far East, Singapore, Western Australia, a straight line over the Earth plane. That's how they do it. And people go, well, it's too far. A plane can't fly that fast. So you believe since the 1960s, planes haven't gone any faster than they were designed in the 1950s, 1960s, right? They've always going like 500 miles an hour, 550. The planes that do these direct flights are special planes, only flown by special military pilots. They have 7 layers of heat-resistant paint on them. That's interesting. They sometimes vary as much as 5 hours between their expected arrival times and actual arrival times. That's interesting. Okay. These are much longer routes than they're telling us. And know who's in charge of their flight routes is NASA. NASA's in charge of flight routes. NASA's in charge of radar. NASA's in charge of GPS. It's all bullshit. Okay. So here's a flight from Taiwan to LA. This is how they said it went this way, right by Hawaii and across. But unfortunately, an emergency happened on the plane. Somebody was having a baby or a heart attack or something right about here. Where would you land if you were the pilot?
Probably Hawaii.
Okay. But if Hawaii said, no, don't come here, we don't like you.
I don't think they're going to do that.
Well, maybe they go here. Instead, they went a couple thousand miles out of the way to Alaska. Why did they do that? And the answer is because this isn't the map you're flying on. Taiwan, emergency, Alaska. Hawaii is all the way out here. Okay. This has happened over 16 times. 17 now, actually. A new one just came out. Where every time the plane landed why did they go all the way over there? But if you draw a line on the flat Earth map from their origin to their destination, they always landed right on that line somewhere or just right next to it, Happened 16 fully documented times. Greatest book ever, free online on a PDF, or you can order it. 16 emergency landings. It's on lulu.com. It's also available in my Flat Earth app.
What do the pilots say about it? Have you talked to any pilots?
We have. We've interviewed a KLM pilot on our show called Globe Busters, which is on Rockfin now. And she was fired the next day. She was a KLM pilot, talked about the routes they take, everything, how gyros work. Next day, grounded, fired. Most of the Qantas pilots, all of them, say they all know. They all talk about it amongst themselves, but they don't talk about it publicly because they want their jobs. Most pilots know. Some of them are just silly bus drivers that don't pay any attention. But most of them do know, except the few that lie, that are here to deceive us. There are, if you Google flat Earth pilot, you're going to end up on a shill channel like this guy Wolfie, who he spends his whole life trying to deceive people. If you Google, flat Earth pilot, you're going to get this guy. He says, he challenges any flat earther. He will fly the plane from Buenos Aires to Perth and show you that it can be done. And we called him out on it. It's like, okay, let's do it. And he goes, I'm not a travel agent. You have to do it yourself, And it's like, well, you said you'll do it with your company. What's the name of your company? I don't want to tell you the name of my company. Totally backed out of it because you can't fly that route. They don't offer that route because it's too far. Plane routes prove that we live on a flat stationary plane. If I show you what that route looks like, you'll get a better feel. If I could find that, it kind of moved. Here it comes. Where'd it go? All right, so the route. Where'd it go? Is it this one? Yeah. So from Perth to Santiago, this is the way they tell you they go. This is the way, the shortest way, right across. But this is the way they really go. They go from Perth. Is that Perth? No, from Perth. They go up here. They either stop in Miami or Miami or Chicago, not Chicago, Miami or Houston. Then they stop in LA. Then they go over to Sydney, and then they cut across, or they go this way through Europe and Singapore and over, because the Earth is flat. This is how it's set up. It's not set up like this, right? This would be. They say, "Oh, this is the Great Circle Route." Any line on a ball is a circle route. That's just to confuse your mind.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
You give me a lot to think about here. Listeners, a lot to think about. Are we in a simulation or an experiment? What the hell is this that we're in?
I think I call it a physical simulation. I think that we are here in these meat suits, that our souls are the true currency of this world, and evil wants to steal your soul. And our goal here is not to break anyone else's free will. I think you lose your soul if you do that, or and not to lose control of your soul. That's basically it. We're here to experience the world and expand the mind of the creator, and have a good time doing it. So there are some Satanists, to be nice, that have taken over this world and have convinced us that we are nothing, that we are specks of dust flying through an infinite universe. Okay. They've controlled our minds with cartoons. Okay. These are all cartoons. Here's another flight route from Buenos Aires to Cape Town. Boom. 4,276 miles. Should take 9 hours. But instead, it goes all the way up to Amsterdam and all the way over here. 29 hours on a globe that's going from here all the way up over the top here and then all the way back down. Okay. But this is the actual route. Bam, bam.
Yeah, something doesn't add up.
Nothing adds up. Nothing is dumber than the heliocentric model. Nothing at all. There's nothing. 100 Bitcoins. If you can find out, you can find, like a mentally handicapped person taking a dump in the street and feeding it to somebody. That's not dumber than the heliocentric model. Sorry for the graphic idea, but there's nothing.
Love the passion.
There's nothing dumber. There's nothing dumber. What are the odds that all these guys got together just before the moon landing? Huh. Hollywood producers, directors, science fiction writers, NASA officials, all together in Hollywood. Fascinating.
That is.
All of our history is a lie. All of the guys that this model is based on are allegedly Freemasons. I don't think these guys even existed. They're all made up stories. These are all actors. It's all baloney. Have you looked into mud floods in Tartaria yet?
No, What's with the mud floods? Tell
You're
me.
Screwed.
Tell me, bud.
It's there was a advanced civilization here in the 1800s that was a one world civilization, and then something happened, some mud flood, some great reset, if you will, maybe, and that civilization was stolen from us. If you look at the world's fairs, these were incredible buildings and stuff that they built for a couple months and knocked them down. It's absolutely ridiculous. You look at the whole story of the Wild West and the gold miners and stuff, all nonsense. There was advanced civilizations here before us. We are not at the pinnacle of civilization. We are 5 steps into idiocracy. We're literally in the middle of the fucking movie.
Well, I think some people think it goes in cycles, right? That we've been advanced multiple times, probably.
This is by design, though. So let me I can't do that right now. I was trying to share my app and show you where you can find information about Tartaria, but it's going to take me a second to do. So I created an app about, if you want to learn about flat Earth, you're not going to find it on if you Google it, you're gonna find nothing. You're gonna find Flat Earth Society stuff. You're gonna find
I can
just
I can relate to that. I was actually for this show, I was trying to find stuff and it was all garbage.
And you'll find Professor Dave and Simon Dan, and these guys are just total shills. And they're that's what will come up in the beginning. That comes up when you search, and it's all propaganda. So I made an app that will bypass all of this, and here it is. I can share it right now. Excuse me. So here it is. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Can you see the whole thing?
Yep.
So real quick, I'll show you. The sun and the moon are the sky is a clock. The sun is the hour hand. It's not attached to the hour hand right now because they have us in fake daylight savings time. So it's an hour, the real time, it's an hour earlier than they tell us. It laps the moon once every 28 days. You can see if it's coming through smoothly. It's gaining distance on the moon, and the moon is growing. So the moon phase and position keeps track of the weeks and the months. I slow it down, whoops, and I turn on the zodiac. The stars keep track of the seasons and the years. The stars lap the sun once a year.
Cool.
Yeah. So the sun was in the Tropic of Cancer last month, and now it's in Leo. Whoa. And Leo will slowly outrun the star, or outrun it, and it'll go into the next constellation. And the stars will lap the sun once a year. The sun will lap the moon once every 28 days.
That is so cool.
All right. And so let me just quickly show you seasons, because this might ring a bell. This inner line is the Tropic of Cancer. That's the height of our summer. So if I jump this all the way back to July or June, May, June. So in June, the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer. And look, it's going right over Miami. It's friggin' hot in Miami in June because the sun is directly over them.
Well,
it's directly over Mexico.
The northern hemisphere supposedly, is summertime.
We're having our summer because look, it's close to us. Australia is having their winter. But if I jump the sun six months forward to December, then they're having their summer. It's over them, and we're having our winter because the sun is farther away from the north. It's out farther, and it's lower in the sky. If you and I were sitting outside in the winter, it's cold. Where are you located?
I'm in Columbus, Ohio right now.
Okay, so in the middle of winter, it's snowing. We're sitting outside 15 feet, 20 feet apart, and it's freezing. But somebody gets a big stick, a broomstick, and is holding a heat lamp 10, 15 feet over your head. You're like, that's my summer heat coming down on me. It's close to me. But I'll look at that light, and it's farther away. It's lower in the sky to me, and I can barely feel the heat. That's my winter sun. Then they move it over to me. It's now lower in your sky, higher in my sky, closer to me, farther from you, my summer, your winter. That's how the seasons work. Simply, they make no sense on a globe. But if you don't believe me, you hit the question mark, and up come the top 21 questions. What about seasons? And if you click what about seasons, and you click the open YouTube, up come a list of videos that they don't want you to see. YouTube won't serve you these. If you search flat earth seasons, these videos won't show up. Watch these videos. Go do the experiment yourself. Don't believe me. All right. Is it still showing, or did I lose the screen?
No, you got it. That's a cool app, man.
Yeah. And the app does a whole bunch of other things. But if you hit the web button, up comes tons of other links. The history of flat earth in the middle here, blow your mind. Okay. Our interview will be over on the left there where it says interviews. We have a top left corner, Globebusters 24/7. It's like CNN, but it's real stuff. Amazing videos. Bottom right, mud floods Tartaria. Our transcontinental railroads were excavated. They weren't built. They were dug out of the mud. Okay. Biblical flat earth, mind-blowing. Flat earth videos, amazing. We got flat earth books. If you're a reader, you want to see books, got tons of books. And we also are introducing, it's not out yet, another couple weeks, the Flat Earth Friend Finder, where you can look around the world and see where other flat earthers are. This is just me and my app developers in India. I can tap on their dot and I can send them a message. Bam. And so you'll be able to find other flat earthers near you and send them a message like, hey, I see you're at the same beach I'm at. I'm heading over to the tiki bar. Come say hello. And you can meet flat earthers that way.
That's cool.
Pretty friggin' cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. And you could turn off your location. You could say, hey, city center me. Don't tell them exactly where I am. Or you can say, show my exact location.
Right. Right.
You have 3 choices. So there's no worries there. So the challenge I give people, if you think flat earth is stupid, come claim your 3 Bitcoins, which are worth probably $40,000 each today, or maybe more. Watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think the earth is a globe, send me 1 proof and you win the Bitcoins. But before you do, you got to hit the question marks, and, up come the questions that you may ask. Hey, what about eclipses? If you click what about eclipses, bam, up comes a list of videos that YouTube doesn't want you to see. Watch them, figure it out yourself. Don't believe anything I say.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff. Well, that's a cool looking app, man. Where can people find the work you're doing other than everywhere? Where can they check out your podcast, stuff like that?
You can check out, just search Flat Earth Dave on YouTube and then search by upload date, and then you'll see all my interviews will come up that way. FlatEarthDave.com will take you to my website, theflatearthpodcast.com. Same website. Flat Earth Dave, easy to remember. The app, Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, not easy to remember. And you have to be careful because it has to be by Blue Water Bay, the Flat Earth Society, listed as the Ron Media Group on Google Play, has stolen the graphics and stuff. Their app is horrible. If you get it, do not send me an email telling me my app sucks and asking me where all the features are, because it's not my app. My app is the highest rated app in Google Play, highest rated app in Apple App Store. And just read the reviews. That'll turn you into a flat earther. It's $2.99, one-time charge. That's it. You're buying me half of a warm beer. Okay. That's it.
Totally
now,
worth it.
There is a subscription charge in there if you want to subscribe. You don't have to. You still get everything, other than you won't be able to message people on the Flat Earth Friend Finder.
That's new. What you get with the subscription.
Yeah, with a subscription, you get that, and you get an awesome weather app, which gives you detailed weather, and everybody uses the weather app every day, pretty much. So, otherwise, everything else is free. Yeah, and you only, no ads. You get 1 pop-up. It says, "Would you like to subscribe?" Exit out immediately. It goes away. It doesn't show up again for 24 hours. All right, easy schmeezy. Only subscribe if you want to, but if you grab that app every day, first thing, to watch that video every day and go, wow, 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 my life is so much better, I think you could subscribe, but you don't have to.
Excellent. Excellent.
Right?
Hey, man, thanks for coming on the show. It's been a fascinating discussion. I learned a lot today, so definitely got a lot to think about. Thanks, man.
It's a lot to take in, and I just say keep looking and use the app to find the information. You're gonna get just waylaid with nonsense. You're going to get waylaid with Professor Dave going, "Oh, flat earthers think that the earth is rising at 9.8 meters per second. No, we don't. You guys think that. The falling off the edge. Bill Nye goes, "Why don't you drive a car to the edge?" Dumbest comment ever. Okay. What about ships over the horizon? Easily explained. What about sunsets? Proven. Time zones? Proven. Seasons? Prove flat earth, actually. There's so much. There's zero proof of the globe. Unlimited proof of flat earth, period.
Wow. And that's Flat Earth Day, folks.
Thanks, Dylan.
Yep, thank you, man. Yes, sir.